Armadillo Tech is back with a new video. So the new Samsung devices just got announced at Galaxy Unpacked. As you may know, the summer event is usually about foldables and wearables, and there is a lot to talk about. So in this video we will take a look at everything that's new, including devices, features, as well as some first thoughts I have on the new releases. Starting off with the Galaxy Fold 7, which comes in three main colors: blue, black and silver, with possible exclusive Samsung online store colors, like the mint green one. And this phone was really one of my favorites, as it appears we have finally reached a point where foldable phone designs no longer require significant compromises. Now using one feels just like a regular smartphone. Firstly, the cover screen has gotten bigger and wider, which is now 6.5 inches, featuring a 21:9 aspect ratio, which should make using the phone while on the cover screen a lot more natural, as previously the narrow screen when folded was a major drawback for the Fold series compared to other foldables. And naturally, with the size increase of outer display, the inner display gains from this as well, which now spans to 8 inches across, and all this is now integrated into the thinnest and lightest chassis yet, with the Fold 7 weighing only 215 grams and having the thickness of 8.9mm when folded and 4.2mm when unfolded, which is a huge improvement over Fold 6, and it makes a major difference when held in the hand. For comparison, my Galaxy S25 Ultra is 8.2mm, and when put side by side, Fold 7 looks like a normal phone having nearly the same dimensions when folded, and this really makes me want to try it as my daily driver, so stay tuned for a full review when I receive my test unit. But the Thinnest looks amazing only until you look at the camera bump, which is gigantic, and this became really apparent when I closed the phone and placed it on a surface. The wobble was crazy as the phone rests on the camera bump heavily, so let's hope that a phone case could even this out to some extent, although with a bump this thick that might be challenging. And also the camera ring design has changed yet again, and if previous years is something to go by, expect a similar kind of design to be visible on the next-gen S series in January. But alright, I do understand that camera modules have to fit in somewhere, and this is probably the only part that couldn't be slimmed down yet, and the camera module thickness might have a good justification, as it now really levels up the Fold series, with finally having a proper flagship grade camera. The main sensor is now 200 megapixel one, the same one found on the Galaxy S25 Ultra, which brings much brighter and more detailed photos. And I think that's a solid addition, considering the premium price of a Fold and the buyers wanting to have the best cameras for that price. There is also an upgrade on the ultra-wide camera, which is still the same 12 megapixels, but now has a better sensor, which promises around 50% brighter photos, and it finally supports autofocus, so it will be able to assist you with close-ups in macro mode. As for the cameras, there is one more major upgrade, which is the camera behind that giant 8-inch screen. Now, just like the one on cover screen, this is also a 10 megapixel one, and you may have noticed that it no longer hides under the display. It is just a regular punch hole camera, so expect much better photos with no more artifacts coming from the transparent screen array. And that under display camera seemed like a strange design decision for me in the first place that actually stuck for many generations up until now, when Samsung decided to change that. So now it's all gone for the sake of a better foldable. The chipset inside is the same one seen on the S series, the slightly overclocked Snapdragon Elite for Galaxy, and this time around, the 1TB version also comes with 16GB of RAM, whereas the rest will have the baseline 12GB. And despite the drastic decrease in thickness, it still maintains the same 4400 mAh battery, which is alright, but still behind when compared to other foldables, depending on how you look at it, of course. And it is no surprise that Fold 7 now also supports Qi2 wireless charging, but in the same fashion as S25 series, where you get no built-in magnets, only support with a Qi2 compatible case. And it might take at least a generation before we see the design adapted to support that. The fingerprint reader is still there, but slimmer, and the S Pen is still supported as well, in case you're wondering. Now let's move on to the more compact Galaxy Flip 7, which has also received a notable facelift with a significant decrease in size and an increase of cover display area. The Flip 7 also comes in three main colors: blue, black and a flashy coral red, with again the mint color being a Samsung online exclusive. So the cover display, also known as Flex Display, is now larger at 4.1 inches, pretty much covering the whole surface area. even around the cameras. The Flex display now supports 120Hz refresh rate for more fluid motion and up to 2600 nits of brightness for better outdoor visibility. With the increased Flex display size, you also get more visual and functional camera features when using it for selfies, incorporating effects around the physical cameras, as well as other things like the ability to summon Gemini from the Flex screen when the phone is closed. And to support that 21:9 aspect ratio on the inner display, the Flip 7 is now slightly wider, which also makes the inner display larger at 6.9 inches, but the rest of the body is actually thinner, now at 13.7mm when folded and 6.5mm when unfolded, with the weight remaining exactly the same. And even while having a more compact body, we get a step up in the battery life with the upgraded 4300 mAh battery, which, just like the Fold 7, also support Qi2 wireless charging via a compatible case with magnets. As for the internals, this year we have Exynos 2500 3nm chipset for the Flip 7 instead of the usual Snapdragon one. So it seems that Samsung is mixing up the chips again across different models, but it will surely be interesting to see how well it performs when compared to its Snapdragon rival. And while we may be nearly done flipping, there is one more new model to check out, which is the Flip 7 FE. It comes in two colors, black and white, and as we know the FE variants, they are usually more affordable versions of the flagship models, with some cutbacks here and there, and so is the Flip 7 FE, as it looks to be a slightly cut back version of the Flip 6, with all the specs remaining largely the same, except for 8GB of RAM instead of 12, and the Exynos 2400 chipset inside, so this could be a good entry for someone looking to try foldable phones. This part pretty much wraps up the phone part of the Unpacked, leaving the stage to the 8th generation of Galaxy watches. We got introduced with two new watches, the Galaxy Watch 8 and the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic, which has now returned with a rotating bezel. And there is also a slightly refreshed Galaxy Watch Ultra. The first notable difference is that all of the new watches have now adapted the Squircle shaped design from the Galaxy Watch Ultra, or as Samsung likes to call it, cushion design. And it's a design change people like to argue about, ever since Samsung moved away from the more similar round watch design. I can say that I have surely gotten used to my Galaxy Watch Ultra and I really like it, so love it or hate it, this will probably become Samsung's new signature design, unless something suddenly changes. Both new watch models come in black and white color variants. The Watch 8 also comes in two sizes as usual, 44mm and 40mm, whereas Watch 8 Classic has only one size at 46mm. Both watches now feature the same display found on Galaxy Watch Ultra, which brings the maximum brightness up to 3000 nits, narrowing the gap between Watch 8 and the Ultra series by one step more. All watches still have the same Exynos W1000 wearable chipset from last year, and the Watch 8 Classic also inherits the added orange action button from the design of Galaxy Watch Ultra. Both of the new watches also adapt the new built-in strap design, which are cross-compatible between Watch 8 and Watch 8 Classic, but will not work with the Watch Ultra, due to differences in size and mounting mechanism, which is kind of a bummer as I really expected this to be at least standardized across all Galaxy Watch models when switching to this strap design, but sadly this is not the case. Also, the strap of Watch 8 Classic may look like a regular strap with adapters attached, but in reality it's just a classic design element as the strap is not removable from its mount. So yeah, the Watch Classic is back with its clicky rotatable bezel, which is really nice to see as I was a big fan of that, but the rotating bezel seems to come with a major drawback here. See, when I tried the Watch 8 Classic, the display actually felt smaller than the regular Watch 8, and it turns out that the display size on this watch is 1.34 inches, which is the same as in the smaller sized version of the Galaxy Watch 8, and this is quite a setback, as even the last Watch 6 Classic had a bigger screen back in the day. This might simply be related to the new more square design limitations, but I think that this might prevent a lot of people from upgrading. So, together with the Watch 8 series, we also got introduced with the upcoming One UI Watch update, and this will bring a lot of design changes as well as new functionality to the Galaxy watches, like redesigned notification bubbles that have adaptive background color and friendlier design. The tiles now also feature extended scrollable panels for things like health and daily agenda, and the Now bar also arrives to Galaxy watches with similar functionality on top of your watch face. And also, we will finally have Gemini on the wrist, replacing Google Assistant under a long button press. The update will also come with a lot of previously unseen health features, like improved bedtime guidance, which will now also take into account your sleep latency, which is essentially the time it takes for you to fall asleep to calculate your perfect bedtime. New vascular load feature will let you monitor the load on your blood vessels during the sleep to discover potential vascular issues. And Samsung even went as far as to claim the ability to track your antioxidant levels, which you can measure by placing your thumb on the sensor array underneath. Other things also include a personalized running trainer to improve your endurance and analyze your performance under certain conditions, as well as other fitness-related features, which I think we will have to look at separately, possibly with the review of Galaxy Watch 8 Classic. So there you have it. This basically wraps up the new products and features Samsung showcased at Galaxy Unpacked. Hit a like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe if you're interested, as I will definitely be reviewing some of these devices. And check out my other Samsung videos as well as other cool tech on my channel. So, thanks for watching and see you on the next video.